Belgium, January 29th, 1945. 2:47 in the afternoon. First Sergeant Leonard Funk turns the corner of a farmhouse, and the world stops. 90 German soldiers are staring back at him, half already armed, the other half pulling rifles from a pile in the snow. 4 American GIs are on their knees, hands locked behind their heads. These men were prisoners 20 minutes ago. Now they are free, armed, and organizing to attack from the rear. A German officer steps forward. He drives the barrel of an MP-40 into Funk's stomach and screams a command. Funk doesn't speak German. The officer screams again, louder, face burning red. Funk looks at the 90 Germans. He looks at his 4 disarmed men. He looks at the gun pressed hard against his gut. And he starts laughing. What follows takes less than 60 seconds. 21 Germans will die, the rest will surrender. And Leonard Funk, 5 feet 5, 140 pounds, will earn the Medal of Honor. Leonard Alfred Funk Jr. was born August 27, 1916, in Braddock Township, Pennsylvania. A steel town carved from smoke and hard labor. Foundries lining the Monongahela River, 8 miles east of Pittsburgh. He grew up fast, learned responsibility young. By high school graduation in 1934, he'd already spent years helping raise his younger brother. The Great Depression was in its 5th grinding year. Jobs were ghosts. College was someone else's dream. In June 1941, with war devouring Europe and Asia, Congress extended the draft. Funk's number came up. He reported to the induction center in Wilkinsburg, Pennsylvania. 24 years old, 5 feet 5, 140 pounds. The Army examiner probably saw a clerk. He was wrong. Funk volunteered for the paratroopers. In 1941, American airborne forces barely existed. Jumping from aircraft to fight behind enemy lines, completely surrounded, it sounded like suicide. The volunteers were a different breed. They had to be. Airborne training was designed to break men. 5 weeks of brutal conditioning that washed out half the candidates, then jump towers, then aircraft. The first time you step out of a C-47 at 1,200 feet, everything in your body screams to hold on. The ground is far below. The wind tears at your face. Your parachute is nothing but fabric, cord, and faith. Funk earned his jump wings, assigned to Company C, 1st Battalion, 508th Parachute Infantry Regiment. The 508th shipped to England in late 1943 and joined the 82nd Airborne Division, the All-Americans, veterans of Sicily and Italy. Men who had already jumped into combat, already killed, already buried friends. Funk was the new guy, 27 years old, ancient by paratrooper standards. Most of his squad mates were barely 20, but Funk carried something they couldn't yet have. Maturity, steadiness, the quiet competence that makes men follow you without being asked. By D-Day, he was a squad leader. By war's end, he would be acting executive officer of the entire company. First, he had to survive Normandy. 1:30 in the morning. The C-47 shudders as flak tears through the darkness around it. Funk stands in the stick, 60 pounds of gear strapped to his body. The aircraft is at 400 feet, too low for a safe jump, but the pilots cannot climb. German anti-aircraft fire fills the sky. Tracers streak past like burning wire. The men hear fragments pinging off the fuselage. The green light comes on. Funk jumps. The prop blast hits like a wall. The chute deploys. And the world goes quiet. Below him, France, occupied France. Enemy territory in every direction. The drop is chaos from the first second. Anti-aircraft fire has scattered 13,000 paratroopers across 50 miles of countryside. Men drown in flooded fields under the weight of their equipment. Others land in German camps and die before they can cut free of their harnesses. Funk lands hard. His ankle twists violently, badly sprained, possibly fractured. The pain is immediate and savage. Every step for the next 2 weeks will be agony. He buries his chute and starts moving. He is 40 miles from his drop zone. 40 miles of German-held territory, alone, in the dark. Within hours, he has collected 18 lost paratroopers. Men from different units, different regiments, all of them looking for someone to follow. Funk leads them through enemy territory for 10 days, moving at night, hiding by day, fighting when there is no other choice. Despite his injured ankle, he insists on walking point himself, taking the most dangerous position so his men don't have to. On June 17th, they reach Allied lines. All 18 men, not one lost. The Silver Star, the Bronze Star, his first Purple Heart. Leonard Funk is just getting started. Operation Market Garden, the largest airborne assault in history. 35,000 paratroopers drop into the Netherlands to seize a chain of bridges across the Rhine. If it succeeds, the Allies will be in Germany by Christmas. Almost nothing succeeds. The British 1st Airborne lands at Arnhem, straight into SS Panzer divisions that weren't supposed to be there. 9 days of street fighting. Only 2,000 of 10,000 men make it out. Arnhem becomes a byword for catastrophe. But Funk knows nothing of the big picture. He only knows his mission. After landing, he spots something that was never in the plan. 3 German anti-aircraft guns firing at incoming Allied gliders. Those gliders carry reinforcements, ammunition, medical supplies. If those guns keep firing, hundreds of men will die before they reach the ground. The position is fortified. Roughly 20 German soldiers, sandbags, interlocking fields of fire. Funk has 3 men. Military doctrine demands a 3-to-1 advantage to assault a prepared position. Funk is outnumbered 7-to-1. He attacks anyway. He leads his 3-man patrol straight at the position. They cut through the guards, storm the gun emplacements, and silence all 3 weapons. 20 Germans, 3 Americans, the guns go quiet, the gliders land. For this, Funk receives the Distinguished Service Cross, second only to the Medal of Honor. He now holds a Silver Star and a DSC, 2 of the rarest decorations in the American military. Most soldiers who earn even 1 are called heroes for life. Funk still isn't done. December 16th, 1944. Germany launches its last desperate gamble. 3 armies, 400,000 men, 1,400 tanks. They crash through American lines in the Ardennes forest, driving for the port of Antwerp. The largest battle the American army will ever fight in World War II. 89,000 American casualties. The cold is merciless, snow, ice, temperatures below 0, men freeze to death in their foxholes, weapons jam, vehicles refuse to start. Then comes Malmedy, December 17th. A convoy of American soldiers, rear echelon troops, radio operators, artillery observers, runs into the spearhead of an SS armored battle group. After a brief fight, 113 Americans surrender. They are herded into an open field, hands raised, disarmed. Then the SS opens fire. Machine guns, pistols, rifles. 84 Americans die in that field. Men who run are cut down. The wounded are finished with shots to the head. Survivors lie motionless in the snow for hours, German boots passing inches from their faces, German voices laughing. When darkness comes, 43 survivors crawl away and bring the news back to American lines. Malmedy changes everything. Before the war had unspoken rules. Soldiers surrendered when the situation was hopeless. Prisoners were treated according to the Geneva Convention. After Malmedy, the rules are gone. When Funk hears about the massacre, something inside him turns to iron. He has seen Normandy, he has seen Holland. He has watched friends die in fields across Europe. But this is different. This is murder. Leonard Funk makes a decision. He will never surrender to the Germans, no matter what. That decision is about to matter. The German offensive has been broken. The Allies are pushing back. Company C receives orders to take the Belgian village of Holtheim. The company is under strength. The executive officer is dead. There are not enough men. Funk walks into the headquarters tent. Clerks, cooks, supply personnel. Men who have spent the war behind desks. "You're all infantry now," he tells them. "Grab your weapons. We're taking that village." The march is 15 miles through waist-deep snow in a driving blizzard. Artillery shells burst around them in the dark. Funk leads from the front. They reach Holtheim. 15 houses, Germans in every one. Funk and his makeshift warriors clear them all. Machine guns, rifles, grenades. 30 prisoners taken. Not one American casualty. Another unit captures 50 more Germans across town. 80 prisoners total, corralled in the yard of a farmhouse. Funk looks at his exhausted men. There is still fighting elsewhere. He can spare only 4 guards. "Keep them here," he says. "We'll send reinforcements when we can." He heads back into the fight. He has no idea what is happening behind him. A German patrol, 10, maybe 20 men in white winter capes, approaches through the snow. In the blizzard, they look almost like Americans. The 4 guards realize too late. They are disarmed, forced to their knees. The prisoners are freed, weapons handed out, positions assigned. The plan? Hit Company C from the rear, scattered, unsuspecting, no way out. It would be a slaughter. The German officer is giving the final order when Leonard Funk walks around the corner. He came to check on the guards. Routine. Instead, he finds 90 armed Germans. 4 men on their knees and a gun being driven into his stomach. The officer screams a command in German. Funk doesn't understand a word. The officer screams louder, face purple, veins standing out on his neck. Funk looks around, 90-1. The mathematics of survival, 0. There is no scenario where he wins this. The rational choice, the only logical choice, is to surrender. But Funk remembers Malmedy, 84 men in a field, shot like animals, left in the snow. He has already made his decision. So Leonard Funk does the last thing anyone expects. He starts laughing. Nobody knows exactly why. Maybe it was a tactic, confusion as a weapon. Maybe it was the human mind breaking under impossible pressure. Maybe the whole situation genuinely struck him as absurd. A man screaming in a language he couldn't understand, expecting obedience. Funk later said he tried to stop and couldn't. Whatever the reason, the effect is devastating. The officer screams louder. Funk laughs harder. A few German soldiers begin to laugh too. Thrown off, confused. Their officer is turning purple. And this American just won't stop. For a few critical seconds, no one knows what to do. And Leonard Funk uses those seconds. Still laughing, he reaches slowly for his Thompson submachine gun, slung over his shoulder. The officer watches. Good. The American is finally surrendering his weapon. Funk's hand closes around the grip. He begins to unsling it, slowly, carefully. The officer relaxes. Then Funk moves. One motion, faster than thought. The muzzle swings into line. His finger finds the trigger. The M1A1 Thompson fires 45 caliber rounds at 600 per minute. At that range, each one hits like a sledgehammer. The officer is dead before he hits the ground. Funk doesn't stop. He pivots and keeps firing, screaming at his men. Pick up their weapons, pick up their weapons. The 4 guards scramble for rifles of the fallen. Seconds ago they were prisoners. Now they are in the fight. The Germans collapse into chaos. Their leader is dead. The American who was laughing is killing them. No one has orders for this. The magazine runs dry. Funk yanks it out, slams a fresh one in, racks the bolt, One fluid motion, muscle memory, and keep shooting. 60 seconds. That is all it takes. 21 Germans lie dead in the snow. 24 more are wounded. The rest have thrown down their weapons and raised their hands. Leonard Funk stands in the middle of it, smoke rising from his Thompson, bodies around him, in every direction. That, he says quietly, was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. September 5th, 1945. The White House. President Harry Truman places the Medal of Honor around Leonard Funk's neck. "I would rather have this medal," Truman says, "than be President of the United States." Think about that. The most powerful man on earth, the man who ended World War II, looking at a 5', 5'4" store clerk from Pennsylvania and saying, "I would rather be you." By the time the war ends, Leonard Funk has earned the Medal of Honor, the Distinguished Service Cross, the Silver Star, the Bronze Star, 3 Purple Hearts, and decorations from France, Belgium, and the Netherlands. He is the most decorated paratrooper of World War II. He goes home, he doesn't write a book, he doesn't go on tour, he doesn't turn his medals into money or fame. He goes back to Pennsylvania and takes a job at the Veterans Administration, helping other veterans navigate paperwork, fight for disability claims, get what they're owed. The same quiet, unglamorous work for 27 years. His wife Gertrude is beside him through all of it. 2 daughters, a working-class home in McKeesport, not far from where he grew up. The Medal of Honor hangs in a case somewhere. He never talks about it. When people ask about Holzheim, about the laughing, about the 90 Germans, he shrugs. "Did what I had to do." That's all he ever says. November 20th, 1992. Leonard Alfred Funk Jr. dies of cancer, age 76. He is buried at Arlington National Cemetery, Section 35, grave 23,734, among the heroes of every American war. At the time of his death, he is the last surviving Medal of Honor recipient from the 82nd Airborne Division in World War II. Most people have never heard of him. War does not favor the biggest. It does not favor the strongest or the most fearless. War favors the ones who keep thinking when everyone else has stopped. At Holzheim, Leonard Funk had every reason to give up. 90-1, a gun in his stomach, his men already gone. Any rational person surrenders. But Funk wasn't thinking about the odds. He was thinking about Malmedy, about 84 men murdered in a field, and he was thinking about the soldiers across that village who would die in an ambush they never saw coming. So he laughed, and while the enemy stood confused, while the world went sideways and nothing made sense, Leonard Funk made his move. 60 seconds later, he was standing in a field of bodies. Alive, when he should have been dead.